United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice to the public, the Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public during the time allowed for discussion. You are requested to approach the mic, state your name for the record, and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may give them the opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chairperson to read the item from the agenda. The board is given an opportunity to comment on the issue and or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate and a roll call vote will follow. Number one, approval or amendment of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, on item number 7, it talks about the county highway engineer official report, and that needs to also go to DOT first. So we need to table item number 7 of the consent agenda. When that all gets accomplished, we'll bring it back up.
So we can just remove number 7 for this meeting and bring it for a later one then?
Yeah.
So we can do it as amended.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I will second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as printed, other than the exception.
No, we're approving the agenda
Amend.
as amended.
Amend.
As amended, I'm sorry.
Yep.
All right, roll call vote.
Thompson?
Yes.
Patton?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes. All right. Number 2, consent agenda. Approved minutes from regular session of August 18th, 2020. Number 3, file clerk of district court report 7 of 2020. General supplemental fund surcharge of $790.71. Number 4, accept the manure management plan annual update for South Hardin Farms, ID number 65416. Annual manure management plan update has been received and placed on file with the following changes to the manure management plan. Change crop rotation or optimal yield and using manure analysis for determining the application rates when applying manure. Number 5, accept manure management plan annual update, Mead Farms LLC, ID number 61407. Annual manure management plan update has been received and placed on file with no changes to the manure management plan. Number 6, accept manure management plan annual update, Norman Port LLC, ID number 59367. Annual manure management plan update has been received and placed on file with no changes to the manure management plan. We're amending number 7. Number 8 is approved claims. Approved claims is audited and authorize the county auditor and recorder to issue payment of the same. The listing of claims paid on this meeting and all claims paid in the month of September will be published as part of the first meeting in October.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the consent agenda as amended.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as printed,
As amended.
Amended.
as amended. Roll call vote.
Thompson?
Yes.
Patton?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes, motion passes. Number 9, approve the personnel actions. September 8th, special elections. A, hire 4 people, elections, equipment, delivery persons, rate of pay $13 an hour, effective September 1, 2020, September 10, 2020. Hire election precinct election official chairs, 4 polling locations, elections, rate of pay $11 an hour, effective September 8th, 2020 only. Hire election precinct election officials, 4 polling locations, elections, rate of pay at $9 an hour, effective September 8th, 2020 only. Hire election special precinct board, up to 3 people, elections, rate of pay $9 an hour, effective September 8th of 2020.
Obviously, we have a special election on September 8th.
You read my mind. What's this one for?
It is for East and West Marshall schools, their save or silo money that they've previously taxed us on. They want to spend it differently. So it's no more tax, it's just a different spending. So the two just are doing that. At least it's at the same time. So
Yes.
that does save each of them a little bit of money, but makes a pretty expensive change for them.
Okay.
All right,
Mr. Chairman, I've moved to approve these personnel actions.
and is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve this personnel action. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes. B, November 3rd, general election. A, hire 4 people, elections, equipment, delivery persons, rate of pay $13 an hour, effective October 26th, 2020 through November 6th of 2020. B, hire Phyllis Eichelbrod, election absentee lead, $11 an hour, effective August 24th, 2020 through November 13th of 2020, due to high volume of absentee ballot requests. C, hire up to 8 additional full-time equivalent people, elections, election absentee voting worker, rate of pay $9 an hour, effective September 1, 2020, November 10th through November 10th of 2020. D, hire election precinct election official chairs, elections, rate of pay $11 an hour, effective November 3rd of 2020 only. E, hire election precinct election officials, elections, rate of pay $9 an hour, effective November 3rd, 2020 only. And F, hire election special precinct board, up to 21 people, elections, rate of pay of $9 an hour, effective October 30th, 2020 through November 10th of 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I would motion that we approve the personnel actions for the November 3rd general election.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve these personnel actions.
And I do want to make a note, Phyllis, we had to bring her in a little earlier than we thought. The Secretary of State's mailing of the absentee ballot request was supposed to go out late August. And I didn't think we'd need her for before today, but a couple of the parties had sent things out and we got hit pretty hard with requests and needed the body in here to work and get those prepped.
Well, and hopefully everybody keeps in mind that this is that presidential election year for our budget, and that adds tremendous dollars to the auditor recorder's election
It does.
portion of our budget.
And where it says 8 additional, why I said full-time equivalent, we probably will run with 6 full-time equivalent, but just in case it's very busy. But a lot of these people are, most of them are retired. So if they wanted a full-time job, they'd have kept their full-time job that they had before. And so they'll work 2 or 3 days a week. Some of them work half days. And so Blaze creates this schedule so we can cover it and have it. So that's why I say full-time equivalency, because that gets us 8 bodies, but not necessarily the same 8 bodies every day. So.
All right, roll call vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Slosik.
Yes. C, change of status and change rate of pay for Chris Donaldson, it's a Secretary of Roads Department. Change of status from truck driver 2 to truck driver 3, and change rate of pay from $26.07 to $26.39, effective September 5th of 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to change the status and change the rate of pay for Chris Donaldson, Secretary of Roads Department. Change the status from TD2 to TD3 and change rate of pay from $26.07 to $26.39, effective September 5, 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded then to approve this personnel action. Roll call vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Slosik.
Yes.
And just for people who are wondering, this is all a union deal.
This is all in our contract, yeah.
Supervisors don't.
Just to let you know, this upgrade, it is just when a truck driver trains on the motor grader. And once they are done with their motor grader training, they're upgraded to TD3.
Okay,
Very good.
thank you, Paul.
Number 10, approval of policies for Green Mountain, Iowa. Discussion and possible action to approve the following policies associated with the Green Mountain, Iowa grant to be used in conjunction with the Green Mountain wastewater treatment project. I guess I'll go ahead and read these. Contract between Marshall County Board of Supervisors and Region 6 regarding general administrative duties and housing technical services, Green Mountain. Addendum between Marshall County Board of Supervisors and Region 6 regarding general administrative duties and housing technical services, Section 3, Green Mountain. Certificate of Compliance, CDBG, procurement standards, Green Mountain. Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan, RARAP, Green Mountain. Procurement Policy, Green Mountain. Affirmative Action Program, Green Mountain. Code of Conduct Policy, Green Mountain. Affirmative Fair Housing Notice, Green Mountain. Policy on the Prohibition of Aggressive Force, Green Mountain. Equal Opportunity Policy Statement, Green Mountain. Community of Green Mountain, Marshall County Contact Information.
Okay, where's the background for all of these coming from? Is that coming from the water treatment? I mean, from
Some of this is so that we're in compliance with all the federal laws and regulations that have to do with USDA and the associated grants. We do have Marty Wymore on the line
okay.
with Region 6 that can probably elaborate more than I can.
Marty, can you speak to this?
Sure. All of these are standard documents that are required of all CDBG grantees. These are compliance documents that they want to see prior to sending any funds for the project for construction activities. So that basically all these documents can't be modified also. They just pretty much have to be approved as presented.
All right. I can tell you that I read all of these documents. It took about an hour to read all of this.
We did add one thing, Marty, on the procurement policy. We wanted to make sure that this was listed for Green Mountain for the CDBG grant, because we already have a procurement policy in general that applies for FEMA grants and things. So we wanted this one to be specific just to the Green Mountain project.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Just added it to the title.
Yeah, we just
Green
changed the
Mountain.
title.
That's all.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would motion to approve the above mentioned contract and policies associated with the Green Mountain, Iowa grant to be used in conjunction with the Green Mountain wastewater treatment project and authorize the chairman to sign the documents.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded then to approve the mentioned contract and policies associated with the Green Mountain, Iowa grant. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Slosik.
Yes. Motion passes. Number 11, Health Partners Unity Point Health Incorporated Agreement number 35823. Discussion and action on an amendment to the Medical Claims Administrative Services Agreement number 35823 between Health Partners Unity Point Health Incorporated and Marshall County, effective July 1st of 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the amendment to the Medical Claims Administrative Services Agreement number 35823 and authorize the chairman to sign.
Mr. Chairman, I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the amendment to the Medical Claims Administrative Services Agreement number 35823 and authorize the chairman to sign. Any discussion on this matter?
I think you guys seen the attachment. It was just the filing process. Trying to read what the,
I did not find any additional costs in it.
no, there isn't. It's just the filing process is different this year. It's just an administrative change.
If there's no other discussion, roll call vote.
Thompson?
Yes.
Patton?
Yes.
Slosik?
Yes. Motion passes. Number 12, certification of Marshall County Employee Health and Dental Plan. Discussion and possible action on the requirement of Iowa Code Section 509A 15 to complete and file a certificate of compliance with the Iowa Department of Commerce, Insurance Division, an actuarial opinion, an annual financial report, and a filing fee for the plan year ending June 30th of 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I would motion to approve the state of Iowa certificate number 509A of compliance and direct the county auditor recorder to file with the Iowa Department of Commerce Insurance Division.
Mr. Chairman, I'd second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the state of Iowa 509A certificate of compliance and direct the county auditor and recorder to file the Iowa Department of Commerce Insurance Division. Any other discussion?
Did you read through that one too?
I didn't read through that one. I'm sorry.
It was a snoozer.
It's
I'm
not
sorry, I
very
did not read
exciting.
Not even for an actuarial was it exciting.
that.
It's just, yeah.
All right. With that being said, roll call vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes, motion passes. Number 13, resolution, Region 6 Housing Trust Fund. A resolution to approve the Region 6 Housing Trust Fund Marshall County cash contribution. Resolution number 2020-0027. Whereas the Region 6 Housing Trust Fund can annually apply for approximately $259,092 of the Iowa Finance Authority state housing trust funds if the trust fund secures $64,773 of local contributions. And whereas the per capita state share for Marshall County is $111,021, if $27,755 of local assistance is secured, and whereas the Housing Trust Fund continues to seek applications for owner-occupied housing improvements across the region, which will be prioritized based upon housing needs, and whereas all the applicants must have annual incomes under 80% of the county median as determined by HUD.
Marty, how many homes did they assist in Marshall County with this program last year?
I guess in 2019, just with our regular allocation, we spent $184,000 in Marshall County. We also had a special allocation in 2019 due to the tornado of another $200,000. So we effectively spent about $384,000 here in Marshall County in 2019.
Are we going to have additional monies again for tornado in this particular fiscal year, or is that going to dry up?
I don't anticipate at this point having additional funds for the derecho damage through the Housing Trust Fund.
I know a while back we struggled finding people that met the criteria to hit all of these different things. I would anticipate with the tornado, we didn't have any of those issues.
No, not at all. During the tornado, we had plenty of applicants to use up the money, and currently we have 12 people on the waiting list here in Marshall County, and we have 2 large rental projects in downtown Marshalltown that are kind of tornado related. One's the Marshalltown Lofts that will be providing $100,000 of assistance towards, and the other one's the Iowa Wholesale Building, putting that back together. That's another $50,000. Both of those projects are directed to lower income renters and have some gap financing needs that the trust fund can assist with.
So you already have 12 applicants that would qualify.
Right.
We used to take this money out of our low and moderate trust fund, that the dollars that came out of the harvester TIF. With all of those portions of the harvester TIF being extinct now, they've all come to their conclusion. With this match, we would have to take this out of our, I believe, general basic portion of our budget. We don't have low and moderate dollars that we can only spend on low and moderate anymore. So this is going to put a burden, albeit not a big one, but you're going to have a further burden on the taxpayer on this. It's not a huge amount. We're getting a pretty doggone good return. But I just want to let everybody know that those dollars will not come from an area that's all we could spend them on.
We spent all that we could from that money, low and moderate, up at,
Green Mountain.
the Green Mountain sewer. I couldn't come up with sewer system. I don't know why, my mind clicked there. But, yeah, that was the last project that we were able to do. And, well, there is more than 100% coming back if we put our 27,000 in it.
Marty, let me make sure I understand. If we don't do this $27,755, we would lose $111,000 from the state.
That is correct. The other 3 counties that we work in at this time have all provided their resolution of support. So our application is due October 1st for this funding. So if Marshall County doesn't provide this level of match, then I guess we would probably struggle to apply for the full amount that we're eligible for.
I would say until we get done with the derecho damage and the tornado damage that we continue to fund this and find a way for us to come up with the money in our budget.
I think it's the right thing to do.
It is. You know, there's so much need and so many people hurting out there, and I don't think there's any way we can't do this. Mr. Chairman, I would motion to adopt resolution number 2020-0027, resolution to approve the Region 6 Housing Trust Fund for Marshall County cash contribution in the amount of $27,755.
Mr. Chairman, I'd second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2020-0027. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes. Motion passes. Number 14, 2019 property tax rates. The listing of tax rates can be found on final pages of this meeting agenda.
So
With the changes in valuations, you're probably going to see about an 8% increase from the county's portion, about an 8% increase from the city's portion. I believe around 4% from the school system. Assessor is going up a pretty large amount, but remember, they're only a 1% portion of your property taxes. Most of it, what you're going to see for increases have been because of assessments, not necessarily because of spending. And those are things that are beyond our control.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time trying to keep our spending within our boundaries.
Right.
And
But we can't control what the state does on rollback.
no.
And they announce that after we get done with our budget. So it's one of those things where we can do our job and control our spending and watch what we're doing, and then have the state change the rollback factor and totally have an increase come through, even though our spending didn't increase.
We're at their mercy.
We are at the mercy of the state. You hit that right on the head.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the property tax rates for 2019 taxes payable in 2020-21, computed by the county auditor and recorder, and approved by the Iowa Department of Management, be established as follows on pages attached.
Mr. Chairman, I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the property tax rates for the 2019 taxes payable in 2020, 2021. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Swassick.
Yes. Motion passes. All right, we're moving on to discussion items. Number 15, the door monitor at Great Western Bank for county offices.
I don't know if any of you were kind of through in the last week or so. It was a little slow. Friday really started picking up. Yesterday was crazy, but we were at the end of the month.
It was crazy.
They did actually have to cut off at the door downstairs at 4:15. Blaze said they were partway down the stairway. I did work the door Friday afternoon for about an hour and a half, and we asked 3 questions. Have you been in contact with anyone that's had COVID? Have you been tested for COVID in the last 14 days? And are you feeling well today? And I had one gentleman who said, yes, I've been in contact with someone that had COVID. And I said,
And
well,
he was still going out.
and I said, were you tested? No, I'm not going to test. I'm going to quarantine. And then I discovered the reason why I shouldn't work at the door. He was not allowed in. The gentleman, there was a young gentleman behind him, and he carefully walked back down the steps to get further away from the person. And I was glad I was wearing a shield.
Does he not understand what quarantine means?
Well, you said it much nicer than I did. So, okay. We did get his question answered. He'd purchased a truck. He has 30 days to do that. He'll be coming in later this week sometime.
If he doesn't get sick.
Yeah.
He was probably about out of the time frame, but since the Iowa Department of Public Health and CDC is still talking about 14 days if you choose not to get tested, he wasn't there. He was at. So I think it's probably something we need to at least continue to, I anticipate we all have seen the lines in September and March. When it's property tax month, it seems like it's a busy time, and September is always a little worse for Jarrett because it's when the statements go out. So any problems and those type of things or questions, I think it's a little busier in September than it is in March.
I would hope the treasurer can, encourage people to A, mail, B, have a drop off like we had for a drop off at the annex.
We cannot use the
But we can't use that
annex
now because we're tearing the building
because
up.
they're tearing the building and there's a fence around that, but there is still a drop box on the entryway at Great Western. There's one right as you come in that north door. And so things can be dropped off there, obviously mail and online as well.
Do we need to remind people of that or publish that?
I think constantly, and we should probably maybe catch it on our radio program. and
Yeah.
That'd be a
any
great,
other-
different place to
You
hit
bet.
it up.
Yeah, this is Jarrett. We have it on the statement to pay online or by mail. We also have people can actually sign up and get paperless, and so if you do paperless, it basically puts you right in line to pay online. We do have that drop box at the bottom, so you don't actually have to walk all the way up to the second floor of Great Western. So we'll maybe put a little bit bigger sign out there that says drop off property tax payments here. And you do the best you can. It's just amazing how there's some people, they really do like that. They just handing that check to you. They really want to do that. And as much as we can try to discourage that, the public's going to choose to do what they want to do, but we'll try to get the word out the best we can to get people to make the payments not in person, but we'll do the best we can.
Hey, Jarrett, when people do it online, what are the different ways they can pay? Is one of them, I'm sure they could do it with a debit card, but are they able to take it directly out of their checking account also?
Yeah, you can do an e-check online, correct.
And are there any charges for that?
I believe the charge is, I think that just dropped to 25 cents. It's 25 cents or 50 cents. We just had a change, and I'll have to get that confirmed for you.
Okay, but do we pass that 25 cents on to the consumer, or do we take care of that ourselves?
The consumer pays it.
Okay. Cheaper than a stamp.
It is cheaper than a stamp.
Yes. All right. So at this point, we'll be continuing to keep someone at the door then.
I would really recommend.
More important now than ever, really.
It seems like people are getting out more and more, and just that we continue to have those experiences. People never cease to amaze me, you know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, and that's fine. And the gentleman was, you know, he was surprised, but he understood and wasn't upset or anything like that. But,
Good.
you know, it just, I think we forget you have all those to-do things that you think you have to do, and 14 days is a long time. You know, it's a long period of time. And so for safety at this point, with the number of people I think we have, I would really recommend we get well into September or through September, and then really analyze it at that point.
Okay. Very good. All right. Number 16, please complete your 2020 census now. We just keep pounding people over the head about this, don't we?
We do, and you know, I can say that even with Eureka and people's, you know, time being spent in other places, they're still getting out there and they're completing the census. And, you know, thank you to the people downstairs outside Great Western Bank who are continuing to help people every day sign up for the census. We appreciate them doing that. I think with their help is the reason why we're seeing the numbers continue to go up, even if it is a little bit.
He moved upstairs.
And he moved upstairs where it's a little cooler. That's
Yeah,
good.
because it was
Yeah.
so hot there.
It was.
And
It
so he
was.
came upstairs and was just inside the elevator, but there was plenty of room.
Right.
It worked out nicely.
Absolutely.
But it was
Absolutely.
95, and I just,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I was glad to see he was upstairs where it was a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Nothing new to report, though, as far as I know. The deadline is still considered to be end of September. But I would like to give a quick shout out to those towns who've increased. I haven't done that in a while. Albion, for those who don't have this chart from the agenda in front of them, I'm going to just give a shout out to those towns who have increased their self-response. Albion has increased, Clemens, Gilman has increased, LeGrand, Melbourne, Rhodes, State Center, and of course, Marshalltown, with an overall increase in the county of 0.4% since we looked at this 2 weeks ago. So we're inching along.
Will it come to a point where they'll go door to door?
I believe they've even started that
They
now.
have, okay.
They've started that now.
Yeah.
In fact, I witnessed it the other night when I was over in Story County. We had someone stop at my son's apartment
Really?
door
Yeah.
and help them complete their census. So, yeah, so I know it's happening.
All right, we'll move on to public forum. It's a time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in the public forum.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to address the Board of Supervisors. It's John Thomas from State Center.
Go ahead, John.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your time today. I'm just coming to you to, again, bring the radio project to the forefront and on the radar. 2 weeks ago, there was a call up in St. Anthony where we were missing a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old child. And myself and the deputy were up there, and we couldn't talk to each other on our portables. And when you're trying to search a town with 2 people, with 2 officers, and turns out it was a custodial issue and the kids were not taken or abducted, but it goes to me that this is reflecting that I just want to make sure that the radio problem is a public safety issue. It is not a fire department issue. It's not limited to just necessarily one area of the county. I get spoiled because in State Center, if I stay completely in my city limits, I have great coverage. But assisting other agencies, whether it's fire or the sheriff's office on emergency calls, we find ourselves in positions where we can't communicate like I did a year ago when we were looking for a subject who ran my patrol car up by Union up in the northern part of the county where deputies couldn't talk to each other in a cornfield. So I want to just drive home the point. I know you're working on it, but if I read the paper correctly, it sounded like the board wasn't going to take action on it till July of 21. And then with the construction build out times, I just feel like we have a huge problem. We have a leaky sink. It's going to ruin the house. Somebody's going to get hurt, and we just keep kicking the can down the road. And I'm just concerned about what situation is going to happen where we have a catastrophic outcome that we might have been able to not have that outcome if we'd have acted sooner. So with respect, I'm glad you're working on it, but I just want to continue to put this at the forefront that I don't think we can wait 11 months to put a plan together that takes 18 months to build. So thank you for your time.
John, can I ask you, was this after the derecho, the winds? Did we lose antennas? And that was part of the reason? It was not.
It was not. It was the Saturday before it was August 8th. It was the Saturday before the storm.
Okay. All right. Thanks for clarifying that.
You bet, sir.
Any other discussion on this topic? All right. Anything else that needs to be brought up in the public forum?
This is Paul. I just wanted to apologize for my wonky internet connection. It seemed to drop every time I thought maybe somebody would have a question for me. Currently on my cell phone, so hopefully this stays.
You're crystal clear.
Did you need any explanation on the annual report? I wasn't sure I got the message through, but we submit that we accept that we send it to the board after we get DOT approval on it, because sometimes there's little things that they want changed or presented otherwise on the report. So we may as well just turn it in to you after the DOT has already stamped its approval on it.
We removed that from the agenda for this time, Paul. We just lined it out and we amended the agenda.
It will likely be on the meeting of the 29th.
29th, okay.
I also wanted to let everybody know that the public dumping sites seem to be working well. There's so far only tree debris as is posted that's being dumped at the sites.
Paul, I've had a few people call and ask why we're not picking up off of their private property. There seems to be a little bit of confusion with some of the tree removal people that are doing work inside the city and outside the city. And would you please cover the fact that the county is not responsible for removing debris from the ditch or private property in front of somebody's home?
It really comes down to what our money is eligible for. We are if we decided to remove debris from private property, it would have to be our local funds. It can't be any transportation funds used for that because of our restrictions on what we can spend on transportation purposes. So we don't have to ask any permission to remove, debris from the public right away. But once we go onto private property, we have to be using local funds for that. I mean, there's, that's really where we are at with it. If the board, if you wanted to make it an item where we will go and haul debris from private property, it would just have to be, we'd have to be sure to, dot our i's and cross our t's on the funding.
I can't imagine what an overwhelming project that would have to be.
You know, it would be a long-term project. It wouldn't be something that we'd get done in a month. It'd be all winter and probably into spring. For the most part though, like, people are taking care of their debris. I mean, it's just the places we have trouble are places that have a lot of tree, and it's not a very large property. You know, the rural homeowner who isn't, you know, in agriculture doesn't always have a place to dump their debris.
Do we need to try to find another location for debris at this point, or do we seem to have it covered?
So far, there's plenty of room at the sites. I was there yesterday at both sites, and it looked like there was, you know, the south site is maybe a third used. You know, it's as far as being, and we can, you know, take a loader there and make things smaller. But so far, there's still ample capacity for the two sites.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Paul.
Sure.
Kim, I was gonna ask you, do you have anything that you wanted to lay out here on the table today?
Yeah, I was just going to update everyone on progress of individual assistance at the federal level. So we all know that, you know, it got announced that we had federal assistance, and it confused a lot of people the first couple of days when the president approved public assistance. That, as you know, is the government side of things. So the debris removal off of the roads and the repairs and the things that come along for the public infrastructure. So IA, or individual assistance, was approved. We asked for that a couple days after the storm, and that was approved at the state level. That is for those eligible. I think it's 200% of poverty or under, and that goes through the online system. You fill out some information, and Mike is involved with that. But the individual assistance for the federal side depends on all of our damage assessment, which was finished last Monday. We had a couple of trickle in after that, but we had canvassed the whole county mile by mile, thanks to Marilee and her crew, my department and my CERT team, and then, you know, the township trustees or others that they assigned out in each township. We had a few of them step up too. So it's a daunting task when you have to go mile by mile through the whole county. It's not like the tornado where we knew the isolated area, even though it was devastated. We knew where we had to search and go through house to house. So we did every square mile in the county, finished it up last Monday, turned it in as it came in. So I didn't wait until everything came in Monday to turn it in. I turned it in every day. And they were able to compile that at the state, worked with Misty Cook at the Iowa Homeland Security office, and hopefully we have everything in that we need to have in. I check every day to see if they need anything else, and I meet with our local FEMA rep tomorrow. And I've been asking the question, how close are we to knowing pretty much every day if we have anything else that we need to turn in for individual assistance, because we all know we didn't get that. We didn't meet the threshold during the tornado in 2018. And we worked really hard then to get all the information in. So worked even harder this time with the square miles that we had to cover. So I hope to hear something pretty soon, one way or the other, whether we get that or not. So just want everybody to know that we're working hard to try to get that, but it's at this point it's out of our hands and in the hands of FEMA to determine if we made the threshold, and then we'll let everybody know as soon as we know.
Well, Kim, and helping in the northwest part of the county, I only had one home that was demolished. Another home that was damaged quite a lot. That was about it. how many, do you have a listing of, or not a listing, but a number of how many homes in the rural part of our county that were totaled?
I do. I don't have it in front of me, but we had numerous homes with the major and the destroyed category. So it up in your area was probably the least hit. We right through the middle third of the county was the hardest hit, and as you worked your way more easterly, it was even heavier damaged. I worked on the Timber Valley Township, and that was very heavily damaged, as you know, if you've been through that area. So going through that was very slow. Even a week and a half into it, there were still areas where I couldn't get up to a property because of either power lines or trees. So it was a slow process. And yeah, we had a lot of, I've got the numbers turned in, but I have to pull those back out. But a lot more damage than we saw, even in Marshalltown, a lot more damage than we saw during the tornado.
Is there anything else that anyone wants to share at this point? Well, with that, we'll adjourn. The next regular session is September 15th, 2020 at 9:05 a.m. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the county auditor and recorder's office or the Board of Supervisors office by Thursday, September 10th, 2020 at 1:00 p.m. There being no further business to come before the board, the meeting is adjourned at 9:54 a.m. Thank you all for attending.